Hey, I'm Broken World Entertainment, and there's an interesting article over here on Bounding into Comics which we're going to look at. It's an interesting article, but it's an article that we all know the answer to. The headline: Is James Gunn lying to everyone about his plans for the DCU? So let's have a look at this. So, when you are the common denominator of a problem, you may be the problem. It has been a rocky first year for James Gunn's official takeover as the head of the DC Universe after he was hired by David Zaslav in the wake of the Warner Bros. Discovery merger. James Gunn was given the keys to the kingdom. It was believed that he would be ending the film universe started by Zack Snyder with Man of Steel and instituting his vision moving forward. At one point, he even said, "The Flash resets the entire DCU universe." Why would you write DCU universe? It's the same thing. And yes, he in fact did say that the Flash was going to reset everything. And in the end it didn't. So, we shall continue. However, fans were still left in an awkward position of figuring out what was going to happen with their favourite superhero actors. Before James Gunn was put in charge of DC, there were many questions regarding the future of Henry Cavill as Superman. 6 days before Gunn and Safran officially assumed their roles as DC Studios on November 1st, Cavill said in an interview that he was looking forward to playing an enormously joyful Superman and that he was very excited about Gunn being hired. That excitement didn't last long. A little over a month after confirming that he was going to be back playing the role of Superman, Cavill posted another message saying that he would not return. "I will, after all, not be returning as Superman," Cavill wrote on Instagram. And then it shows his whole post. Some people argue that Henry Cavill was misled in conversations into believing he was coming back when he initially made the statement that he was returning. Even James Gunn said as much, telling The Hollywood Reporter, "I like Henry. I think he's a great guy. I think he's getting dicked around by a lot of people, including the former regime at this company." And then went ahead to dick him around himself. It became accepted narrative that Henry Cavill had to go because, in the words of James Gunn, they needed a new direction and a new Superman. Specifically, Gunn wanted someone a bit younger who could more than likely play the role for the next several years moving forward. And this part gets interesting. However, when James Gunn finally found his man, actor David Cornsweet, who is 30 years old, turns out Cornsweet will be older than Henry Cavill was in Man of Steel in 2013, when James Gunn's Superman Legacy movie hits theaters. He'd probably almost be the age of Henry Cavill now by the time this movie gets done, because there's no signs of these strikes ending anytime soon, which means no chance of them filming. But it continues. The question then became, was Henry Cavill's removal from the role of Superman something personal rather than a creative decision? Enter The Rock. In the wake of the box office failure of Black Adam in October of last year, a narrative was crafted that blamed Dwayne Johnson for all of DC's problems, because Johnson envisioned having his character go face to face with Henry Cavill's Superman, to the point Cavill appeared in the film as a mid-credit cameo. Insiders at Warner Bros. Accused him of playing a power play against James Gunn. According to Variety, Johnson reportedly made a plea to David Zaslav to keep Henry Cavill around so that his dream could be fulfilled. This infuriated Warner Brothers executives behind the scenes, who began to feed information to the media that buried Dwayne Johnson as egotistical and someone who was trying to go over people's heads to change the culture of DC. And when you looked at the state of DC, would that have been such a bad thing? Johnson was slammed for daring to go to Zaslav directly rather than through a series of middlemen. Some people went as far to blame Johnson for the failures of not only Black Adam but Shazam: Fury of the Gods, after he reportedly declined to appear in the film as a cameo. Johnson recently pointed the finger at the regime change at Warner Brothers for the fact his Black Adam project and vision for DC died. When asked about it by Kevin Hart, Johnson responded, "I think that Black Adam got caught in a vortex of new leadership, and at that time, as we were creating Black Adam, developing it, shooting Black Adam, we got knocked down a little bit because of COVID and the shutdowns. Got back up. You have people coming in who creatively, physically are going to make decisions that you may not agree with." Johnson asserted it was easy to disregard the concerns of The Rock, as he and Cavill shared the same agent. Many saw it as a last-ditch effort to save Zack Snyder's universe, which had become very polarizing over the last few years. To this day, people are furious that Warner Brothers released the 4-hour Zack Snyder's Justice League on HBO Max back in 2020. No, the people who are furious are the people who wanted Snyder gone in the first place. They are the only people, because everyone else loved that movie. Not just that, it was the highest selling Blu-ray for Warner Brothers. So I don't think a lot of people were furious. The resentment towards the Snyderverse may have blinded the ability to see there has been one common denominator with the issues between the former stars of the DCEU and James Gunn. However, there was a third party involved in all of this as well: Ben Affleck. Gunn noted back in December that he wanted to work with Affleck and even had a meeting with him. He tweeted, "Met with Ben yesterday precisely because he wants to direct and we want him to direct. We just have to find the right project." However, Affleck made it crystal clear he had no intention of ever working with Gunn. "I would not direct something for the James Gunn DC. Absolutely not. I have nothing against James Gunn. Nice guy. Sure, he's going to do great. I just wouldn't want to go in and direct in the way they're doing that. I'm not interested in that," he elaborated. Then came Gal Gadot situation. While promoting her upcoming Netflix movie entitled Heart of Stone, which I've watched, it's okay. It's not fantastic, but it's not bad. It's worth a watch. The Wonder Woman actress told media outlets that she had spoken with James Gunn and Peter Safran, and they assured her that they were going to work on Wonder Woman 3 together. "I was invited to a meeting with James Gunn and Peter Safran, and what they told me, and I'm not quoting, Gal Gadot is quoting, 'You're in the best hands. We're going to develop Wonder Woman 3 with you. We love you as Wonder Woman. You've got nothing to worry about. So time will tell,' Gadot said to Flaunt." Unfortunately, what happened next is Warner Brothers threw Gal Gadot under the bus by denying her claim that she would be returning as Wonder Woman for a third film. Warner Brothers insiders clarified to Variety that the studio had never made any concrete promises to Gadot returning and reprising her role, nor had they ever had any definitive discussions regarding the matter. Basically, they called Gal Gadot a liar. After the last year, the question has to be asked, who do you trust is telling the truth? Gal Gadot or James Gunn? There's an old saying that if you ran into an asshole in the morning, then you ran into an asshole. But if you keep running into an asshole in the morning, you're the asshole. That saying is one of them, if you're an idiot when you go to the bar and there's an idiot and everyone around you think is an idiot, chances are you're the idiot. That's what that reference is. The fact that now several A-list stars within DC cinematic universe have had a falling out in short succession with Warner Brothers in the wake of James Gunn's hiring begs the question on whether James Gunn is the problem. As much as James Gunn was loved by the cast of Guardians of the Galaxy, to the point that when he was fired by Marvel Studios for tweets he made, the complete opposite seems to be the case in regards to James Gunn's reputation within the cast of the DC universe. So the Marvel people stood by him, the DC ones don't seem to be. Dwayne Johnson is an actor who has always been credited with his easy to work with mentality and generally likable personality, except for Vin Diesel, making it puzzling to hear stories about Johnson's ego being blamed for the death of Black Adam and Shazam! Fury of the Gods. It's funny, isn't it? They're blaming him for a movie he has nothing to do with. It's worth noting that nearly $400 million worldwide Black Adam did last October, far surpassing any DC project that has come out in 2023, which includes the heavily promoted The Flash movie that James Gunn was on record claiming it to be one of the greatest superhero movies of all time. Now, keep in mind as well with that part, Black Adam is the last movie that came out before Gunn took over and came out and said he was changing everything. So how exactly is Dwayne Johnson to blame for Shazam when James Gunn basically came out and told you there's no point seeing it, it's going nowhere? Pfft. With the information that we have available, we can only make one or two conclusions. Either the actors who were once involved with the DCEU have all been lying to the public regarding their status with the company, or James Gunn is lying to the actors themselves. Do you trust James Gunn more than you trust Henry Cavill, Dwayne Johnson, Ben Affleck, and Gal Gadot? James Gunn's Superman project is 2 to 3 years away from ever seeing the light of day. There isn't anything else regarding the future of DC that has anyone excited enough to make them part with their hard-earned dollars. So there you go. There's the article. And the big question, of course, is James Gunn the one that's lying? Like, you're hearing people directly saying, oh yeah, we spoke directly with James Gunn and this is what he's assured us. And then it gets rebutted saying, no, that's not happening. He seems to be the problem. He really does. Oh, Superman Legacy is not an origin story. What's it going to be about? Oh, it's going to be about when he first meets Lois Lane and Perry and Jimmy Olsen and stuff. Oh, so it's an origin story. You know what I mean? Oh, it's going to be a total reboot, but we're keeping Peacemaker and we're keeping some Viola Davis and all that. By the way, he's now come out and said that the Suicide Squad is not canon to the DCU, and yet he's moving forward with making a Amanda Waller series and Peacemaker season 2. And now there's a rumor that they want Margot Robbie back as Harley Quinn. What a mess It's in worse shape now, DC, than it was before Gunn took over. It really is. And now Blue Beetle's about to drop. I think it's this weekend. And that's going to bomb. And then they still have Aquaman to come out. And that's going to be another disaster. And after that, it's open waters all the way to James Gunn's DCU, which is already looking to be DOA. We'll have to wait and see. So with that, I'll leave it there for this one. So cheers, and I'll catch you in the next one.